This is day one of turning all my coworkers' things into Lego while he's on vacation. So my coworker Jerry's gone for 2 weeks and he's got a pretty boring desk, but we still have lots to work with here. So let's start with these pens. All right, let's see what we're working with here. This one's made to look like it's Lego, so it's pretty straightforward to replicate it. And this one's just a gray tube, so not too hard to recreate, even got the ballpoint tip for realism. A couple more variations on that last one. This one's slightly thicker than these ones, so we use square bricks to account for that. This one's pretty easy, colors match perfectly. We've got a dry erase, a much fancier dry erase. This is a big chunky pen, some scissors, and I know what you're thinking. Alec, these look flawless, but as soon as he tries to take the cap off, he's gonna be able to tell. But don't worry, I thought of that too. Now he's just gonna think he's out of ink. And of course we gotta swap the mug. Pop these in here, we pop it back on the desk and take something for part two. So today I'm building his tape dispenser, and this is all about getting the shaping right. So I'm gonna be using these arched pieces in a series to get that little swoop up where the tape sits. The base is slightly tapered, so we use some slope pieces to make a good foundation, and then we build up the back, using some more of those arches to finish the swoop. We of course need to make the little teeth that break the tape, and vertical clips work perfect for that. The tape roll itself is made by modifying this classic circle design to make it a little thicker, add some studs on the side, a mounting pin on the bottom, and of course studs so that we can have this tape pulling off of it. We mount the whole thing in the housing, and it looks pretty good. And while it doesn't dispense tape, it does look pretty dang good on Jerry's desk. This is day 3 of turning all of my coworkers' office things into Lego, and today I'm doing paper stuff. Now this paper tray is interesting because I could get fancy with a bunch of rods and clips, but I only have a little less than a week left, so I'm gonna go with a simple lattice. Just gonna give it a little, and that's perfect. Just add a Post-it note and some important business papers, and it's all good. The stapler's a little bit harder, but not too complicated. So we're gonna start with a body, and we're gonna add this little plate on here to represent that. The actual silver bar piece is gonna rest there, and we're gonna use this bracket hinge because we wanna get this slight angle in the top part. So on top of this, I attached this shell, which I built using brackets so that it sits ever so slightly off of this silver part for added realism. Does it work? No, but it's 2024. Everything's digital. What does Jerry need to staple anyway? And then we pop these on his desk. So far we've done his pen mug, his tape dispenser, all of his paper products. Let's do his webcam. So this back part is simple enough. We just have to build a rounded wall and attach that to some rocker bearings, and then another set of rocker bearings on the bottom, and then we can get those angles in there. The back of this is all rounded, and I think it's the perfect opportunity to use this newer piece. We just put a bunch of those together with a smooth tile, and it's looking good. Next, I build these side panels and attach them to the back of the webcam. I included some little dots here to be the speakers, and then a little light for when it turns on. I've squeezed in these little rounded bar pieces so that when we attach this to the base, we can adjust the angle of the webcam. And these front-facing snap pieces are perfect for attaching the actual camera itself. We put it all together, and I think it looks pretty accurate. Try and put it on the monitor, but it's too heavy. Nothing a little sticky tack can't solve. Perfect. So I've been doing a series where I steal my coworkers' office supplies and build them out of Lego while he's on vacation. And I've been doing a series where I build Lego phones. So I took Jerry's walkie-talkie. And that's right, it's a crossover episode, baby! Woo! So the only real detail we have on the front is this grating, and we can recreate that by stacking plates in this way. But we want the whole walkie-talkie to be slightly wider, so we're using jumpers on the top to attach a plate that is 7 studs wide, and we're using the snap pieces on the side that I've added to give it some little ears and give it some more oomph. Antenna, and a couple of dials up top. And the base is pretty simple, but we've attached some snap pieces on the back so that we can use this battery pack on the back with the belt clip to make it just a little bit thicker, a little bit more realistic. A real simple base that it can slot into. And now Jerry's all set to send out important radio calls. A man has fallen into the river in Lego City. So Jerry doesn't actually have a computer here. He just uses a laptop, but we can do his keyboard and mouse next. So I build a platform roughly the size of the mouse and use these big rounded pieces for the shaping. This slightly tapers in, so we use jumpers to bring it in half a stud and then half a stud again to match the taper. I build a little housing for a mouse wheel, and while it doesn't turn, it does look pretty accurate. Just a little more detailing, and it's done. Looks pretty close. Now the keyboard offers a unique challenge. It's all black, so all the detail is gonna come from like really nuanced techniques that I use, and I don't have that much black brick left. So I'm just giving a nod to the keyboard using the keys from the typewriter set, and these actually come out and they can be swapped in for a little message for Jerry. We'll stick these on his desk. We've done pens, tape, mouse, and keyboard. I think it's time for this tray and all these knickknacks. So I took the paper tray and a few key knickknacks that I think will translate really well to Lego, and I built the tray to a similar scale using some of these lattice pieces, doing my best to incorporate the curve on the right side, along with a little slot for papers, but it does need some extra support in the middle or else it wouldn't be able to stand up on its own. The post-it notes are easy enough. We just make a light yellow square, and the mermaid becomes a mermaid minifigure. This ceramic turtle lends itself really well to Lego, and we even add the little baby turtle on top. Jerry's got a bunch of toy dinosaurs, but I'm a professional Lego builder, so I'm not going to judge him for playing with them at work. But the one I'm happiest with are these keys. I think this looks exactly like the real deal, and he's not even going to notice it's changed. So let's take this back to his desk. Now we're at the point where most of the stuff on his desk is Lego. He comes back in a couple of days. I've been working like overtime for this project. We're on day 8 now. It's been over a week since I started replacing my coworker's office stuff with Lego versions while he's on vacation. But we can't just think about what's on the desk. We have to think about what's below the desk. So let's do his trash can. We're going to try building this almost entirely with black 2x8 bricks because I've got a whole lot of them. And just because I know some of you are going to give me a hard time because I said I didn't have a lot of black brick in a previous video, I have a lot of like random brick, but for my specialty pieces, I'm down to just a handful of my most used elements. And you can't bake a cake if all you have is 40 pounds of flour, if you get what I'm saying. I build a simple base and then start stacking. And just under 20 minutes later, we've got a box! Add a little lip around the top to match. I briefly considered trying to make a trash bag out of transparent Lego brick, but ultimately decide against it and just use a trash bag. But it's still plastic, so we'll count it. This baby can hold so much trash. Look at that! Put it back under the desk and put a candy wrapper in there for realism. So down to the trash can, Jerry's desk is starting to look pretty Legofied. However, his Lego name badge offers a bit of a problem. I built Jerry's name badge years ago in the form of a book because he's an avid reader and a talented writer. However, it's already made out of Lego, so we're actually gonna have to de-Legofy this name badge. So I head to a local bookstore and look for a green book that more or less matches. After reading up on business leadership, I'm ready to paint the front of it. I start by tracing out the letters using Lego brick, and I start painting, but very quickly realized that a sponge was not the way to do this, so I switch gears to some paint pens, which work a lot better. So now that we have a real-life version of Jerry's book name badge, I have to go buy some modeling clay and sculpt all these minifigures. Absolutely just kidding. I have neither the time nor the skills to do that. So I'm just going to attach a strip of base plate to the book and attach his minifigures. We put the book on his desk, and I think it's finally time to tackle his monitors. I have the same one as Jerry, so I measure it out and get to stacking bricks. Until we have a very exciting black rectangle. It's like a mirror. And now it's time for a very important prank PSA. And that is that we are not trying to inconvenience Jerry. I don't want to damage any of his property. I'm being very careful about that. So this is actually just a shell that's going to sit on top of his monitors so they can be quickly taken off. And I put a little strip of foam on the back to protect his real screens from any damage. I do not want to inconvenience Jerry at all. I just want to make him laugh when he comes back from vacation. But Jerry has 2 monitors, so let's have a little fun with the second one. I try and put myself in the shoes of an office worker and think about what I'd want on my monitor if I was working at a desk job. And realistically, I'd be playing games, so I make some playing cards to build solitaire. Of course, building it into a window so you can quickly minimize it. I ever so gingerly place the shells on top of his monitors and replace the webcam I made a few videos ago, and it's looking good, but there's one more thing I'm gonna build before it's done. So I take some measurements and do some quick math and determine that it will take this many bricks to build the topper for the desk, and luckily I have a whole lot of brown 2x6s. Now I know it's not the most exciting to watch me just build a big brown wall. It's pretty tedious to do as well, and that's why I do it during conference calls. If my boss is watching, I promise I was paying attention. Altogether, this only took about 2 hours, so it wasn't too bad. I carefully clear the desk and put it in place. Unfortunately, the monitor stand kind of blocks it, so we make some in-the-moment adjustments. I also add a little front plate to make it look more integrated. It doesn't quite go to the back, but that's okay. And it's a beautiful sight. And with that, Jerry's desk has been fully Legofied. And if you're gonna tell me that, Alec, there were other things on the desk right here, I'd say, no, there weren't. Don't worry about that.
Okay, who polished it? Oh.
Delaney, how's it look?
It's nice. This, nice.
That's amazing.
Do you think Jerry's gonna be mad?
Yeah.
Jerry's gonna be back in 2 days, so we'll find out what he thinks soon. We did his mouse, his keyboard, stapler, paper tray, tape dispenser, pens and whatnot, his walkie-talkie, webcam. Both of his monitors are Lego, and this one's playing solitaire. His paper stand that has all of his knickknacks and keys on it. The trash can has been turned into Lego, and his name badge was already a Lego book, so we turned that into a real book. And of course, we got a solid brick-built desk topper. But I think the best consolation for Jerry for having to endure this prank is if business was good. So I'd encourage everyone to check out your closest Legoland Discovery Center or Lego Discovery Center. Also, they employ me and let me get away with ridiculous stuff like this. So if you like my content, you can actually support my channel by going and visiting a Discovery Center. Either by buying a set in the retail store, or by visiting the attraction itself, where you can build all sorts of cool Lego models, you can go on rides, you can see awesome Lego creations, and if you do visit a Discovery Center, I think you should tell them you're there because of Jerry, because I just think that would be really funny. He's coming. He's here. Good morning. How was your vacation, Jerry?
Not long enough. Apparently I should have gone a little longer so I could finish the desk and the chair too. I know. I love that. That's funny. And I do play solitaire sometimes while I'm on calls or whatever. Not here, but at home. Riser has a tray that had a whole bunch of paper in it.
Okay, Jerry, I only had 5 days.
Oh no, I was gone.
Oh my gosh, it's not accurate enough for Jerry.
Right down to the scissors. Except you can't cut anything with these.
Jerry, you're breaking my art.
Didn't Elton John sing a song like that? Don't go breaking my art.
This is why I did your desk. Is there anything you want to say to the internet, Jerry?
Working here, this is what you come back to.
Thanks for being a good sport, Jerry. Now he's just working away like nothing even happened.
Trying to get caught up.